coronavirus vaccine is finally here. It's arriving in small bottles, but with a glitzy entrance. The coronavirus vaccine has been accompanied by the kind of corporate image campaign you typically associate with higher-end consumer products. Imagine the rollout for a Hollywood blockbuster, the new iPhone. That's what it's like. Suddenly, the COVID vaccine is on the morning shows. It's being touted on celebrity Twitter accounts. And the news about it is uniformly glowing. This stuff is just great. A lot of famous people say so. Just the other day, the guy who played Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings series got the vaccine. As on any media tour, the paparazzi were there for the dramatic moment when they stuck the needle in his arm. It's a very special day, the Gandalf actor told Reuters. I feel euphoric. I would have no hesitation in recommending it to anyone. I feel very lucky to have had the vaccination. In other words, tastes great, less filling. He is indeed a very lucky man. And you will feel lucky, too, when you finally get the vaccine. That's how a healthcare worker in Juneau, Alaska feels tonight. Lucky. She got the vaccine 2 days ago. The woman had no history of allergies, but within minutes she developed a severe anaphylactic reaction to it and then had trouble breathing. She wound up in the emergency room overnight. It was all a fantastic experience, according to the doctor who treated her. Quote, during the whole time, she was still enthusiastic that she got the vaccine and the benefits it would give her in the future. What a cheerful patient she must be. We've got to assume she is in any case because we can't really know. The authorities didn't release her name. All we know is she's a highly satisfied customer. Yet another. Have a vaccine and a smile. Just do it. So how are the rest of us supposed to respond to a marketing campaign like this? Well, nervously. Even if you're strongly supportive of vaccines, and we are, even if you recognize how many millions of lives have been saved over the past 50 years by vaccines, and we do, it all seems a bit much. It feels false, because it is. It's too slick. The Gandalf guy was euphoric because he got a shot. It wasn't heroin. It was the corona vaccine. The lady who couldn't breathe is enthusiastic as she is rushed to the emergency room? Come on. This is patronizing. Stop with the slogans. Better to treat Americans like adults. Explain the benefits, be honest about the risks, and let the rest of us decide. In this country, we control our own bodies. They're always telling us that. But no, suddenly the rules have changed. On the question of the corona vaccine, our leaders are definitely not pro-choice. Their view is do what you're told and don't complain. No uncomfortable questions. Those aren't just suggestions, they're rules, and Silicon Valley plans to enforce them. Twitter's announced a new policy to censor any unauthorized inquiry about the vaccine, or as the company put it, false or misleading narratives about COVID-19 vaccinations. Among other things, Twitter is censoring any claim that this vaccine might be used to, quote, control populations. So whatever you do, don't say this is social control. Because if you do, the richest and most powerful people in the world will act in perfect coordination to shut you down immediately. So to repeat, there is no social control going on here. None. And if you suggest otherwise, Twitter's social controls will censor you. And not just Twitter's. Facebook has now decided it must, quote, build demand for vaccination in communities worldwide by sharing, quote, reassuring information about getting the vaccine. So Mark Zuckerberg was a tech tycoon. Now he's a professional marketer. Mark Zuckerberg's job is to make you want this vaccine like a cold beer on a hot day. Ask for it by name wherever the better medicines are sold. Fortunately for Mark Zuckerberg, he gets to control the conversation about the product he's selling. Facebook has announced it will squelch, quote, any misinformation it sees about this vaccine. Other billionaires think that's a great idea.
Do the social media companies, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, on, have a responsibility to do more right now, Melinda, in terms of getting this misinformation, this disinformation off their platforms?
They absolutely have a responsibility. The internet and the rise of social media has happened so quickly that really the regulations and the good policy making hasn't stayed out in front of it. And quite frankly, it needs to catch up.
Now, wait a second. That looked like Melinda Gates, who seems like a nice enough person. But why is she weighing in on an international health emergency? Melinda Gates is not a doctor. She's not a research scientist. In fact, her last full-time job was 25 years ago in the marketing department at a software company. So why is she on CNN? And why is CNN asking her how this country should handle COVID? Well, simple. Melinda Gates is married to a billionaire. And in 2020, that's enough to give you control over an entire country. Melinda Gates is happy to take control. She wants control. And so she's demanding that the tech companies censor anyone who contradicts the official storyline on the COVID vaccine. And she's getting her wish. None of this inspires confidence. Censorship will not convince a single person to take the coronavirus vaccine. In fact, it will have the opposite effect.